Pro boxing fans here with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, I gotta rate you, man. You're eating your lunch. You know, you put your lunch down for me. That's a good thing, mate. I've never seen you put down food before.
Well, I've been told not to eat in front of cameras, so I've got to have a bit of etiquette. So we're back on it. It's good. Good build up this today. We're in a cinema in Bethnal Green, Gav.
I think they're putting Bambi on for you, mate. That's what it is.
No, Frozen. Putting Frozen on for me.
Johnny, let's talk about why we're here. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, big fight, big rivalry. I do want to talk about that in the co-main, but firstly talking about that fight 4 weeks later. How do you think both fighters are coming into this right now?
You know what, I think that this could change the result of, if not this fight, fights on the undercard as well. Because if you're a fighter, well, put it this way, you've got some fighters that are gym fit. When it comes to a fight, what you do is you train for 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks for a particular fight. Some fighters that aren't gym fit, they need 12 weeks to prepare for a fight. Now these guys have trained for a particular day. The day got cancelled 5 weeks ago, and so what happens is now they've got their body to an optimum weight to train an optimum weight. It got called off, so usually after that you'd eat a bit, full out a bit, because neither would make the weight easy. But it's a tricky one because you can't put too much weight on. You've got to taper off for a few days and then back into it again. So the third week of this, they have to be at peak again to build back down again. So now for both fighters and everybody else on the bill, it could make a massive difference because they may not be as strong at the weight because they've been down at the weight for longer than they usually are. And you'll see what I mean. You just listen to the fighters afterwards. You know, if someone said he didn't feel as strong or my opponent felt much stronger, don't be surprised with that. I think the other thing is everybody's in the same boat. So excuses won't work, but it could have an influence on results on Saturday night. But I'm so looking forward to it.
How do you see it playing out between both fighters?
I've not changed my mind. I think Marshall, sharp boxer, clever boxer. She's on point. I think Claressa, biggest character out there, biggest ego out there. So I think it'll make a massive difference to her. I think she'll fight with her heart and her ego more than anything else. Savannah, the cooler she is, the better chance she's got. She can't get drawn into Shields berating. She does that, then she's given her exactly what she wants.
Do you want to talk about the co-main, which I've spoken to both women, Alicia and Michaela, and this could be a main event for any fight in the UK, in America. Big fight, big rivalry. Yesterday they had a face-off on Sky Sports where they had to be pulled about by security. I want to ask you though, when there's so much emotion riding on a fight, how do you sort of try to push that away on fight night and try to implement a game plan? Well,
it's the one who can pretend who's the best actor, because one can make out as though they're really emotional, really peed off, to get under your skin. So you're like that. The coolest fight in the ring is the strongest fight in the ring. So you can't fight on emotion. Only very few fighters can do that, like your Mike Tysons, like your Nigel Benns. But anybody else, if you do that, it makes you the weaker fighter. So with those two, with Mary and Bangana, I just think that's going to be a wicked fight. I think Bangana, she knows she can bang. She knows she can punch. She knows she's strong. But I hear stuff in the gym that she's not listening. She just wants to go gung-ho, get stuck in there because she knows she's got the power. So she just depends on the power. The problem's going to be if she doesn't get the shots off, then what? It's going to be more frustrating for her down the line. But either way, I think, again, ego will take place and who's going to be pushed back the most? Who's going to be one that draws first blood? But the bill itself, you know what? 1957, there's a woman called Barbara Buttrick. First female world champion. She was fighting around the time of Sugar Ray Robinson and people like that. Nobody wanted to know. She had to fight tooth and nail to get the respect so people knew who she was. She now lives in Miami now, actually. If she came here and saw this, and saw the lineup here, you know, they've got to pay homage to her because she was a trailblazer. It was for people like her that made it possible or made the minds open for these kind of fights to happen. Now you look at this bill. This bill consists of the present and the future. Even cards that you're not going to see on TV but will be on the live stream, they are our future. It's a completely talented card all the way through. So tomorrow, you know, you may see the guys that you've not seen on TV. That's the new superstar. They'll come through. Katie Taylor's done a brilliant job in setting the stall out, making everything possible and making everything real. And these girls have come along to say, right, I'm going to pick up the baton.
Do you want to talk about the same night? We've got the return of the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, after a good couple of years. Talk to me about Deontay. What do you feel like he can sort of do in that division still? Because he's come off 3 heavy fights against Tyson Fury, fighting someone quite tough in Helenius actually coming back. Well, what do you make of Deontay Wilder? What do you reckon he can do to that division here?
I think Deontay Wilder is a beautiful addition back to the heavyweight division. He always will always have that punch power. I don't know how his belief and self-confidence will be after getting turned over 3 times by Tyson Fury, because the mind is everything. And so does he believe he's still the best fighter in the world? I don't think so. And that can make a lot of difference to a man's hunger, desire, to make him train that extra bit harder. And you might get this one fight out of him, but he's got to decide how much he wants it. Because as long as he knows someone like Tyson Fury is around, this guy's not fighting for the money. You know, he's a multi-millionaire. It's for the right to say, I'm the best fighter in the world. And if you're used to that kind of success and you've got to be a second place, it's hard to do that. I expect him to get a job done, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't hang about for long. I hope he does, because again, he's one of the most concussive punchers I've seen, bar Julian Jackson. But it's a case of his desire, how much he wants it.
You just spoke about Tyson Fury there. A lot of talks, a lot of rumours coming out of the rumour mill saying Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora Part 3 is going to take place December 3rd. Talk to me about that. You know both fighters, you know Derek quite well. Tyson maybe not so much, but what do you make of that fight?
I don't know what the end goal is. If it's for the fight, good on you boys. You know, you're just getting in there for a fight. Tyson Fury's now decided he's not retired. He's not going to fight for half a bill. He's now decided he's going to fight Derek Chisora. Derek has a crack to fight Tyson Fury and earn some money. And but I'm trying to understand what the end goal is. Does Tyson feel he's got nothing to prove in fighting Derek Chisora? Maybe so, but it's a case of what his intentions are, and that's it really. For Derek, he might be able to turn around the record, the score sheet. I don't think so. I think Tyson Fury is too smart for all of them, in and out of the ring. But again, he's curious to see which way it's going to go.
Do you want to talk about Anthony Joshua? There seems to be certain talks coming out that he's looking maybe at Ariola as a fight, you know, something along that sort of ranking. Do you think Anthony Joshua now needs something where he can build his confidence up again? That fight where he can just win, build that confidence up again?
Yeah, he don't want a gimme. He wants a fight. He wants the kind of fights that's going to, build his confidence, self-belief up. Again, like I said about Deontay, it's about desire. It's about when your desire is to be the best, and you think you're the best, and all of a sudden you know you're not the best. Is your desire going to be the same? Is your hunger, is your energy, is your want going to be the same when you know you're never going to be the best? And you've no excuses. So Anthony Joshua will think, you know what? Unless he can give himself no excuse, think, you know what? I can be the best. I probably lost because of this. I probably lost because of that. Then so be it. But these guys are wealthy people. Say they are not boxing for the money. You know, you've got millionaires fighting for pride, and so it's up to them how they play it out. But it's good to see him. I don't know if I'd probably give him a rest mentally more than anything else away from the game. But he wants to get back on it again and get involved. That's his call. That's his shout. Only he and his people around him know how he operates.
Just 3 final questions from myself. We've seen on Twitter Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia put cryptic messages saying done with a couple of eyes.
That is going to be such a wicked fight. I'm so looking forward to that one. And there's a bit of bad blood between the two of them all, but you've got 2 class fighters there. So he's one a young pretender. We'll find out once it becomes official.
Another fight I spoke to you about in Coventry a couple of months ago, Errol Spence Crawford. You said it was done, but Johnny, it looks like it's just going back and forth. We're in it for the long haul right now.
It's the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua thing all over again. These guys, it's such a shame It is a shame. You think, come on, boys, get it on. There's no reason why. Now the goalposts have changed all over again. So that's a sad thing about our sport. You know, we shoot ourselves in the foot by not the business getting in the way of the show. And I'm gutted, but you know, we'll see. You never know. Things may change.
Just a final one. I need to talk about last week in regards to Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. not happening. Just talk to me about, you know, both fighters quite well. You've been around them. How do you just give me your thoughts on how that whole thing was handled by the promoters, by the broadcast, by everyone involved last week? Because it seemed like the fight was still going to go on even with the failed drug test.
Well, first of all, you know what? It's not a problem. You know, it's a problem that needs to be sorted out in the official channels. I think once someone's actually sat down and spoke to Conor and heard from Conor directly, then we can all speculate. We can all say it's this, that, and the other. We can all have our own opinion of it. But at the end of the day, you're not in that circle to actually know what's actually going on. You know, he failed a drug test. You know, the boxing board pulled the show. Rightfully so, and so that's all we know, and that's all we can deal with. Just deal with facts.
But Johnny, the question is, why would there be? Why, if there's drug testing in place and somebody's positive in it, why is their fight still going ahead? That's the question that a lot of people are asking.
But it didn't go ahead.
I know, but there was a chance that it was going to go ahead.
Yeah, but it didn't go ahead, and that's the issue. There was talk of it going ahead initially, and you know, the U-turn. I think someone's hearts were listening more than the head, and you had two confusing factors. One was a businessman, one was a fighter. And look, I can remember snapping my knee, and I was in hospital, and I said to the doctor, look, just bandage me up, I'm fine next week. I was in denial. So it doesn't matter what you say at the time. I think it's the right thing was done. Let the right authorities deal with the situation. When they've done that, you know, then deal with it after the wash.
Actually, just going off that, your good old mate Kell Brooks come out and said, you know what, I don't mind putting them gloves back on again and giving Chris Eubank a fight. What do you say to that? Because you know Kell quite well, you know what he's been through, what he's been through in the ring. Do you think he can come back and have that last outing?
I hope he doesn't. But I'm here in March. So it's up to Kell what he wants to do with his life, but it's not worth it, man. I know you might be a £5 million carrot hanging in front of you, but you know, in 10 years' time, you'll think, was it worth it? And I said before, I was out with Ricky Hatton just before Kell boxed Amir Khan, and Ricky was still talking about when he boxed Manny Pacquiao, and I'm like, let it go, it's done, you know. But it still griped him. So for Kell, there's no saying what Brendan used to say, don't make money a god. I personally would be happy going off into the sunset, finish on a high. You'll always be happy looking back. You might have regret thinking, shouldn't have. I hope he doesn't, but I have a funny feeling March is the date. He's in the gym. He's talking about going out to training camp, and I'm like, oh man, but if he does, I'll fully support him. Kell on point, which is so on point against Amir Khan, he's on fire. But I don't think there's any fighter out there that will get Kell to train like he did for the Amir Khan fight, which is why I wouldn't want him to fight again.
Cool. Johnny Nelson, always a pleasure. Talking to yourself. Can carry on eating now. Stopping you from eating is actually a big thing, so I appreciate that a lot.
Because I respect you and I love you, that's why.
It's because I normally give you a lot of food on fight night as well. Johnny Nelson, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much for talking to Pro Boxing fans. Thank you.